So, me and Sanford, we have a small history. We both are from Millersburg, Pennsylvania. If you guys ever heard of that? Way up north. And true story, how we came to know each other through comedy. However, I graduated with his eldest stepdaughter. I have a scar on my head right here from wrecking my bike in 3rd grade looking at her at the pool. Puberty came early that year. But no, I wasn't from Pennsylvania originally. We moved to Pennsylvania from Florida because my father smoked a lot of weed. Okay? He decided we were going to move one day, you know. So I was like, all right, we'll move up. But being the son of stoner parents is never fun, okay? Anybody here smoke weed? Hey, you? All right, we're gonna hang out for the show. But no, being the subject of stoner parents is a problem. Like, I'm a father. I have a 7-year-old little girl. Okay, when my daughter was little, she did a lot of crazy stuff. But I can remember vividly at 4 years old walking towards a light socket with a knife in my hand, okay? Now, if that was my daughter today, I'd stop her and say, honey, don't do that. You might get hurt. My dad sat back and said, it's going to be good. I got blown across the living room floor, and his big theory in life was, are you ever going to do that again? Okay, learn by your mistakes, was my father. Like, thanks, Pop. Yeah, electricity, bad. Appreciate it, Pop. You know, I was a couple years older. I'm running through the table, running through the living room. We had a huge oak coffee table. For some reason, my parents always, remember them big things you had in the living room that people would trip over? Bare feet. I hit it with my toe, stubbed my toe. I'm jumping around. My dad says, are you going to let that table kick your ass? I look at the table, he goes, why don't you kick it back and show it who's boss? So I reared up and kicked it. Going, you know, I hurt my foot again. He goes, you ever going to do that again, stupid? I'm like, hell no, Dad, thanks. Sure. You know? So we grew up in a real small town, and my neighbor, his dad owned a bar, okay? So I'm like 10. My buddy's like, hey, man, you want some beer? I'm like, sure. What's beer? He goes, oh, you just drink it. It'll make you feel good. I'm like, all right, you know. So I'm up in the garage and I'm drinking these beers, and my dad comes sneaking in. He says, what do you got there, son? I got beer. He goes, oh, you want to drink, do you? So how many beers you got? Well, he gave me a 6-pack. He said, well, give me them beers and walk down the house and tell your mother you need a funnel. Come back up here. So I walked down, I'm like, hey, Mom, I need a funnel. And she goes, oh, Dad's teaching you a lesson. Here you go, stupid, have fun. So I walk up to the garage. My dad's holding a piece of a garden hose, which he attaches to the bottom of the funnel. Now, today I know that's called a beer bong. 10 years old, I didn't know this. He goes, now, here, drink this. And he starts pouring beers in the funnel. I'm 10 years old. I'm drunk. He goes, now, go mow the grass. I said, Pop, I can't find the door to the garage. He says, see, boy, this is what alcohol does to you. I want you to remember this when you wake up. Thanks, Dad, for another long lesson. You know, and he's like, by the way, you going to do that again? As I'm throwing up in the corner of the garage. And I said, no. So now I don't drink anymore often. Only when I go visit him. But a couple years later, you know, I got into the pot smoking like the old man, like father, like son. And my buddy gave me some weed. I was up in the garage, you know, I'm getting high. So my dad comes sneaking in, partially because he's like a bloodhound with that shit. Like stuck in the basement. He's like, what do you got there? I was like, oh, I got some weed. He goes, oh, you want to smoke weed, do you? He goes, I'll tell you what, give me that pipe and lighter and walk down the house and bring me back all the marijuana you got. Hurry up now. Now I'm like, thinking back to everything he did to me as a kid, I'm like, alcohol, wait a minute. For once in my whole life, this might work out. So I hand him all the weed and everything else. He goes, now to teach you a lesson, I'm going to stand here and smoke your whole bag. And I said, wait a minute, Dad, what is that going to teach me? He goes, shut your mouth, open that window, you're not catching a contact buzz, okay? And I remembered at a very young age, he told my brother and I, if you're going to bring drugs home, just share them with me, you know? It's my father, man. I love him to death. He's an asshole, but I love him. You know, he's a lovable kind of asshole. You know, he was nothing like my grandfather. My grandfather was totally different. Like, he taught me little lessons in life to live by. Like, he died when I was young, so we did spend a lot of time, but I think I was like 7 or 8 when he passed away. And he told me one time, he said, son, you're going to meet so many people in your life, and some of them are going to remind you of a slinky. They're really not worth a damn, but they're going to make you smile when you trip them down a flight of stairs. And him and my grandmother, they were married for, I think, 55 years before my pap passed away. And, you know, as a young romantic, you know, I was watching them, and I'm like, Pap, you know, I want to be happy like you. You know, how do you make it work all these years? And he goes, well, there's a couple of rules to a successful marriage. He says, number one, it's better to have loved and lost than live with a crazy bitch for the rest of your life. He said, number two, when you're too old to cut the mustard, you can still lick around the lid. I'll let that one sink in for a minute. And number three, now remember, I was like 7. He's like, make sure she can give great road head. Yeah. Hey, road head, that's awesome. But I'm like, Pat, what is road head? He said, son, it is the greatest gift that any woman can ever give you. Which is great. Someone's very excited over here. You must have got that letter that I wrote little Sally in 3rd grade. It got me suspended. But it was very important information now. But it got me suspended in 3rd grade because I wrote Sally a message and said, will you give me road head, yes or no? And she circled maybe and gave it back to me. And we dated all through high school. Anybody here unemployed? Anybody looking for a job right now? I'm the only loser in the room. Yeah. You back here, you raising your hand?
Right, I need a job on Friday.
You need a job on Fridays. What are you going to do on Friday? Hey, there's a stripper place in there.
I'm missing a little equipment that they require.
Hold on, let me look at you. You do all right over there. They dim the lights and everything. The guys are half drunk, they'll never know. That's why they make so much money, because they're all liquored up. They're like, oh, naked chicks, all right, let's go. But no, I was unemployed for quite a while. But through my unemployment, I figured out my television got more than 3 channels. Okay, I'm a single dad, and I'm a comedian, so I used to watch Comedy Central, Nickelodeon for my daughter, and ESPN. And I came across this Discovery Channel. You guys seen this? It's like a learning channel for adults. You can learn a lot of shit. And they had a show on one time called Breast Augmentation. Yeah, I got excited because I'm thinking titties, right? This is a horrible show. This is a show about women who want to give their boobs away. And they're on there and they're crying, they're saying, oh, they hurt my back. And they lower my self-esteem, and I can't find a bra to fit. Shut up. I guarantee you in the history of mankind, there's never, ever, ever been one guy that's walked into a doctor's office and says, Doc, I got too much penis.